clarification for this question. A little clarification in this question. The respondent could choose more than one program. That's why the numbers won't add up to 100 because a respondent could be aware of both larger than item bulk pickup and the free kitchen pail. Within the people who are aware of these programs, we can see that the most widely used as well is the large item and bulk trash collection. 77% of the people who have heard about the program have used it. This is among 774 individuals. The numbers go down from there because there's lower awareness of each program. Going stratifying even further the sample, the people who are satisfied, who have heard of the program, have used it and are satisfied, we have that 94% of the people who have used the large item bulky pickup are satisfied with it. Generally, pretty much everyone who has used it, all the programs are satisfied. If they were dissatisfied, again, this is even a more stratified number of people. These are the most common reasons for their dissatisfaction. The pickup was delayed. This is just 21 individuals, so even it's important to hear the responses of everyone satisfied and dissatisfied equally. Let's keep in mind that these are very small numbers of respondents. 77% of the people are satisfied with the new three card system. There's a recycling opportunity here, although 46% of the respondents correctly say that flexible plastic bags and chip bags do belong in the blue lid card. 44% believe that everything can be placed in that card. So this is an opportunity for the district. Um, Confusion regulation are the biggest barrier for people to properly sorting their items. But out of the 1,000 respondents, a third of them expressed they had no barriers recycling their or properly sorting their recyclable items. Um, what would make it easier for people to properly sort their waste? Refrigerators, magnets, and free mobile app are the most commonly pointed responses. 74% of the people have placed their food waste in the green lid card, 10% increase from 2023 survey. And we can see a decrease in the almost the same fraction of 10% of people who have not used the green lid card to place their food scraps. Um, Response one more information about how to identify organic waste. That's the number one area they could benefit from to properly sort their waste. 43% mentioned that they don't really need any more information. They're well informed. The biggest barriers for sorting organic waste is smell and pests, tracking small animals. Almost 30% mentioned they didn't have any sort of barrier to properly sort their organics. Um, the biggest motivator to sort organic waste would be tips on how to reducing smell, bugs, and small animals. I mean, this ties pretty much with our previous question. This is their biggest barrier and what would help them the most to properly sort waste. We are now getting into the proposed or new programs. 51% oppose the idea of a variable rate system. 69% say that the battery disposal collection container, not just the curbside pickup, are the the truck pickup for batteries would be useful for the home, for the household. The way they communicate with CMSD, they prefer direct mail to their home. We can see email also has a very important share. In this case, they could select up to 2 responses. 70%, 73% would not support paying for a lockable blue leaf. I mean, to keep recyclables within the bin, so they can be taken from people from the street. They wouldn't pay extra for that. For their digital communication, Facebook leads the website or social media app more widely used. We see a shift from 2023 where YouTube was the leading website. Now it's Facebook followed by Instagram. And this is the demographics. As mentioned, they may not directly reflect the whole population within the customer center district, just the people who live in single-family homes. We um, we apply the surveys within Costa Mesa, a portion of Newport Beach, and in the unincorporated areas of the county. Um, and that is it. Do we have any questions?
Any questions for him? And its information's pretty straightforward.
I have a question. Are we being asked to just file and receive this, or because the recommendation was on the staff report that there was actually funds left over and we could do a focus group. And I have a lot of questions about this survey, like where the questions came from. And it seems to me like
Ask.
10% in 2 years, that's not great. We should be doing better than that. 64% to 74% awareness.
Yes.
I think we should be doing better than that. I think we've done a great job. We have a great campaign, and I don't know why it's not getting across to people. So I don't know if we're not asking the right questions or what, but I'm wondering if we can do a more, with that leftover money, if we could do a
That's
more
what the committee
focused-
wants to recommend to the board. The committee can make that action and we could take that forward to the board and the board can make the
I'd
decision.
like to hear from other people what, if they have any questions, because I didn't think that the numbers were really high. I think the staff does a phenomenal job trying to let everybody know and respond. And, I saw that the numbers were up on certain areas, but I think we can be doing better.
In regards to the barriers to the use of the organics, as of 2026, January 1st, the grocery stores are no longer giving the plastic bags and then are doing the paper bags. But paper bags that they give out don't fit that organic little pail, and it makes it very difficult. And so some of the barriers are really just finding suitable liners to be used in that pail. And so is there a way to address that? Because I think you'll find a lot less compliance with the organic pail just because of finding not finding a suitable liner for the pail, because I just don't see them just dumping the pail and then dumping it straight into that.
Well, so in theory, everyone's supposed to be using compostable bags.
Correct.
In those little pails, which you can buy at any grocery store.
No one's
But
gonna do that.
I know that some people were using plastic bags, which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me, but everybody's different.
Right.
Well, I know when the program began 10 years ago, compostable bags were very hard to find and they're very expensive. They're easily accessible, and I see them at all the grocery stores now, and they are affordable. And we do, when we give out pails, we do put some sample liners in there and here's what we use. And I use it at home because I just don't want the odors, right? That's my issue, is the odors. And so to me, I think they are accessible. They're right next to all the grocery
The other
stores.
thing too, just on that note, is all of the produce bags now
right.
and the meat bags and all of that, those are all compostable. So people could very easily, put a bag on all the stuff they buy and then take them home and then use those bags so they don't, have to, if they really don't want to pay for them.
It's just that residents just don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we continue to try to do our best to get the word out. You
Right.
can use compostable bags.
Right.
Sure.
So anyways, that's just.
Rosemary and then Paul. And Craig.
Thank you. My comments are grouped into 4 areas. One, this survey helps me see how customers view the district and the services provided. I think there's a big difference between wastewater collection and solid waste services, removal, carts, CR&R. I really think that service needs to be improved with the hauler. Honestly, it's not good. The other thing that came to mind when I heard about this information was that the public is still confused about what goes where. So I would like to recommend that the district engage a consultant that would do education and outreach to really get that information out in effective and targeted ways that will just really push the efforts of the district even further. And then I was also kind of disappointed that the number of renters that responded to this survey were so low. I mean, 16%. So I feel like we're missing a significant population within the district. So I'd like to see more diversity, not just a bunch of older homeowners. And then the other thing, I was a little concerned with the response on the survey that I think it was 51% of respondents were opposed to the variable rate system. And I think it may be, there could be some issue with how the way it was, how the question was formatted, because it almost seems like people think, well, do you guys want to pay more or not? And of course, the answer is going to be no, I don't want this. But if you were to ask people if they wanted to subsidize their neighbor who's, running, using all these services, but still paying the same fee that a single senior citizen is paying, do you want the senior to subsidize the family of six? I suspect more people would say no. So I'm kind of curious how the way the question was formatted impacted or swayed the numbers in that particular question.
The valid point on that question, definitely. Regarding the renters, 16% is actually an accurate accounting of our customers. We had a lively discussion with the board. The board wanted us to look at using more renters as well. But as you know, most of the customers that we serve is single-family households. The large apartments that you see that have 200, 300 units, we don't service those. They have been serviced. They're not our customers. So it wouldn't be fair to ask them about that, our services. So I think the 16% is an accurate account of our customers.
Thank you.
I think there are a lot of renters in single family homes. But I don't think they're the ones particularly who answered when you guys called. You know what I mean? Because we do have renters there, but like you said, the multifamily,
That should increase.
not your customer.
2 years ago, I think they only achieved about 5% of the renters. So it actually, and we, based with the direction from the board, we directed the consultant to try to find out more renters, and they did. They did find, so from 5% to 60%, I think that 60% is an accurate accounting of our customers.
Yeah. Okay, Paul, did you have?
That was the kind of the question, is that 100% of the people were in single family homes. What about like the duplexes? Like I live in the west side over by 19th Street, and like there's, we all have carts and it's all duplexes and stuff like that. And I was just curious why I wasn't asked. I didn't get a survey.
Well, again, it's 1,000 out of,
Yeah.
so we're not, but they did.
Also too, like in the same neighborhood, like there's like routinely like Christmas trees and black cans, like there's a lot of misinformation that comes out to my section of the neighborhood.
And the duplexes are our customers. The duplexes or fourplexes are typically, but what we also found out, again, during that discussion, the properties are older properties. These are older duplexes built like in the 70s and the 80s that we took over. Now, when you see the new apartment complexes building up, Those are all bin services. We don't provide that services. So the duplexes, it's just, I know we did contact some, we just obviously didn't contact in your neighborhood.
Well, you guys don't even service all of them because all the ones in the Spice Streets, there's duplexes and fourplexes and they're independently owned. And it falls under the umbrella of the city of Costa Mesa.
If it has a
So-
bin services, so the difference between a
Yeah.
bin and a cart, so I told the board that there's a difference between our service and city services. Carts are the single family carts. Those are the 3 carts that you have that pick up on the side. We call them a side loader. It picks up the cart from the side. Bins are those 3-yard bins you see in commercials. They're supposed to pick up on the front loaders. When you see bins, that's a city service contract. When you see carts, that's our service. That's how,
Call them a dumpster.
yeah, dumpster. That's how you tell the difference between our service and the city services.
Yeah, and then also I would like to see a question going forward, taking off on what Brooke had brought up at our last meeting. And I think even a couple of the board members commented on it at their meeting, that it was something that they would be interested in, is a pilot program. Brooke brought that up at our last CAC meeting when we discussed something about this, about questions or something like this.
Pay as you throw program?
And, yeah, for the pay-as-you-throw program. And I think it may be if a question could be formulated around that, or, kind of presented in a way where people could say, you know, if there was a pilot program for seniors to potentially pay less for, you know, throwing less away, is it something you would want to participate in? Or not even for seniors, just for people in general. But, yeah, I agree that the way it's phrased probably, and people are resistant to change anyway. People just will say no if you want to change something because it's a human reaction. Brooke?
But was Craig on the list?
No, I'll pass for now.
I have 2 questions. Is this the first survey since the 3-cart system has been put out?
Yes.
Okay, so some of the decline in percentage could be related to that. And so as a follow-up focus group, or I don't know if there's a way to identify if that's really an accurate representation of the decline, if in some decline. I mean, it's not huge decline, but just a little bit. And then the second question, how do you use the demographic data for your, for developing an action plan? Is it something that you use, or?
The demographic data? Yes, well, honestly, it's this, in the past, we haven't gone in depth details on the data, but that's something we're going to look at next week, is the demographics and what, and who is saying what. And we'll develop an action plan based on that.
So you use that to develop
Yes,
the action?
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, because that was something that the board members discussed at their meeting, is like, this is great information, but you have to do something with it.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not gonna do something with it,
I wanna-
why do we care if we know? You know what I mean? And so that was Scott's comment about his action plan based on.
I got a comment on that. I read over the survey. I found it kind of difficult to ascertain what they were trying to get out of it. Like, I saw a lot of redundancy in the questions. And like even tonight, I saw 3 different versions of, are you satisfied? And they were all different numbers. One was 81% from one question. So there's no, I see flaws in the survey itself. And I understand the things you've gotten out of here that you're trying to develop and work on, but I just got confused with the survey. And I thought, what do you do with all that data? Just like she's asking about the demographics, what's the point? You asked so many questions about so many little things. What are you going to do with all that information?
Well, that's what I'm going to discuss with my staff. We'll come up with an action plan and
Yeah.
we'll share that with you in a future date.
Yeah.
So a lot, it could be, you know, it's, you know, we want, one of the goals of the board is to increase our participation in the household hazard waste collection program. Okay, so what's this, what is that survey telling us?
Yeah.
Are they happy with it? Are they not happy? What areas can we improve? You know, so we can look at that data and see what we're doing wrong, where we can do better in our services, come up with a plan and then implement that plan and see what results come out of that. So,
I agree. I think it was very convoluted, although there was some really good information in there. And Rosemary, you brought up some really good points. And Rosemary brought up something at one of our other meetings, and we could be addressing the whole what goes where we've got these giant billboards running around our city, every 3 of them on our street every week. And we're missing an opportunity to let people know what goes where, and also to talk about the battery program, which I'm going to talk about later. But you could let people know. And again, I think the staff in that area has done a great job. I mean, I have magnets everywhere and information everywhere about what goes where, but I think we need to do a better job about helping people inside the house. If you're not doing it inside, it's not gonna carry over outside. You're gonna throw everything in the same damn trash can, so.
I'm gonna make the comment that I would like to suggest that before we start saying that we need to do better about something, we need to look at what other agencies are doing and how well they're doing. If other agencies are around the 75th percentile, we cannot expect CMSD to be much higher than that. Okay, so we need to have that data in order to see, well, where are we falling behind with other agencies? Other agencies are always a good way to measure ourselves as to how well we want to do. So I think it'd be good to have that data. And I think generally CMSD has always been close to the forefront of the data when compared to other agencies.
Just a comment about how people would like to receive information or how they get information, like through different social media platforms. The only information do we have from customers, or the majority of information we have is their address. Do we have their emails, their texts? We have
Yes,
so we have the means to communicate with them
Yes.
like we do with a mailing to every household that you have on their
It
distribution.
wasn't
list.
just phone calls the consultant tried to contact. They did use emails. They used.
But I'm thinking beyond the survey. I'm thinking now you're getting to your action plan. Here are the steps that we'd like to take based on the information and things that we want to promote more or promote to our customers. But there's something helpful about the 3-cart system or your organics cart, whatever it is, you have the means of reaching them, not just by a piece of mail, but by a piece of email and a text as well.
We do have emails. I don't believe we have text. We do have emails.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just thinking what your capacity is based on their response and how they prefer to receive information.
Yeah, the emails is only based on to be honest, believe the, and correct me if I'm wrong, Nolan, emails are based on people who are subscribing to our GoGo.
Okay.
That's how we.
Gotcha.
So it's a small sample.
Right. This is a small sample. Okay. And then when it comes to social media, how much during the year are we using promotions? Promoted posts, so paid posts, advertised posts, because those are, I don't know how much they are now. You can geo-target it, and then it's either going to be more expensive or less expensive. And are we looking at budgeting appropriately to expand that based on where people get their information from the most, but everything, but the most too, and geo-targeting, we're going to obviously catch people who are renters too, but geo-target as much as possible to get that same information, in there as they're scrolling like all of us at 4 a.m.
Yeah, I can have my staff go more on what we do, but I know it's in our performance measurement program, we list out the number of engagements we do every year, and it's quite phenomenal. I think that this past year we actually did a online commercial on TV commercials on our program, which was extremely effective, we found. So we're always trying to think outside the box on how to reach out to our customers. Nextdoor is another great tool that we use to reach out to our customers. It's been very effective.
The promoted post will get you the most amplification, obviously, rather than just relying on the post and expanding the number of people who are following or subscribing. So thinking about if you have budgeted to promote paid posts, as opposed to advertisements, but paid posts. Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Just one comment. I don't know how many people have a Ring camera, but every time a helicopter flies by, and it's like, hey, what was that? And so you might want to consider having a Ring camera for Costa Mesa Sanitation District that says, hey, hey, we're seeing a lot of things. Making comments on Ring is probably the least, I mean, the most effective free advertising you could get for a Costa Mesa Sanitary District. And you'd be surprised at how many people look at their Ring notifications. And so just the way to
And they're easily shareable too.
and they're very shareable.
You can use it, but
I'm
I
just,
see a lot of things on social media that people share off of Ring.
Mhm.
So it can't be that difficult to
It-
share.
And it's probably one of the most widely used notification system in Costa Mesa. If something's happening in Costa Mesa, all the Ring users know about it.
Yeah, I took
And
note
it's
of that.
free.
Thank you. Took note of that, definitely. Thank you.
Great.
Craig or Eric, I'm sorry, I was looking at you.
Mr. Carroll, your action plan, when do you think you and your staff will be able to have produced that?
I could possibly have a draft here at their next meeting in March.
Great. It seems to me that every 2 years that giving them a few weeks and having this discussed with the action plan in place from staff and let them do their job would make sense. Because a lot of these suggestions they might be generating, or they're going to take these suggestions. With that said, I have, in my view, websites, web pages are always hindrances to keep fresh and update. I've already noticed one difference on our current website between the organic recycling program, which has probably been around that web page for years because it was 2015, and the 3-cart system for organics. One says pizza boxes, one does not. So how often is that, I guess the 3-cart system, how often is that scheduled to be sort of reviewed and updated? Or is it just whenever it needs to be?
It's repairing. It's not a scheduled date. And we look at it, okay, it's time to update it. It's sometimes it's brought by residents that let us know.
Okay.
But we try to keep it updated as much as we can.
I just realized that was maybe not a smart question because it was only 4 months ago.
Yeah.
So this is relatively new. But thinking of that, this, 3 carts, only recyclables for only 4 months. Overall in the numbers, I think that's pretty good. But obviously this group, it seems like, and obviously staff and Mr. Carroll here want to improve those numbers tremendously. I bet the next time, 24 months from now, it'll be a much better acceptance rate, knowledge, informed rate. Considering again, just a few months with the new 3-cart system, that's pretty good in my view so far.
I heard a comment that to use a focus group. If the CAC wants to make a motion and take an action, I can take that to the board. No promise that they will do it, but at least I'll take it to the board and ultimately it'll be their decision if we want to hire a focus group. But
There was was it $4,900 or $4,600 that was
That
left
money
over
can
that
be
could
better
used?
spent than. If it can be better spent than doing a small focus group, using it for a small focus group to drill down on some of those questions and some of that information.
I think for me, the survey was clear. I think the district staff does an amazing job. I do think there is value in bringing in professionals who do education and outreach to really talk about some of the most effective methods to reach communities. We're not the first district to do this. We've definitely heard some really good ideas, but you could advertise at the DMV or on the public buses that are running through here. Where are our single family property owners? Where are they shopping? Is it near Target or is it down by Smart and Final? Or really looking at the most effective ways to transmit the information that's needed. I think a lot of people want to do the right thing. They're trying to participate, but where does flimsy plastic go? what is flimsy plastic? Or what do I do with the K-cups or the wax covered cartons? You know, I've been doing this for a long time. I'm very knowledgeable, and there are times I'm standing there like, oh, what am I going to do? So what would the layperson do? And I feel like there's still room for good growth. I think the district is doing amazing, and we still need to continue to develop the programs. And I think over years, as Mr. Roberts stated, I think over years, we will continue to improve.
You know, something I noticed recently is cart returns in parking lots now have advertisement billboards on them. I had never noticed that. I don't know how long it's been happening, but I just recently noticed them in like the stores that I go to. And they have this particular one was for a realtor. And it had whatever it had in the guy's face. And then it had a QR code. So maybe we could do something like that. Costa Mesa Sanitary District, what's recyclable? And they scan the QR code and it pops up on their phone or something like that. I don't know how expensive something like that would be, but
Yeah, great idea.
Thank you. Just as a follow-up, I don't want to belabor my Ring thing, but one of the posts on Ring, it says, anyone else still have their Christmas tree in the alley? Ours hasn't been picked up, and I've called, twice. I still have mine up in the house, still in the alley. We put ours on the 28th, and it's still there. But anyways, one of the staff members can just, hey, this is what so-and-so, here's the information, call so-and-so. And so it's always a response to a community concern, or at least a citizen concern. And so this might be a really easy way, and just to have somebody on staff that is part of the the Ring community, and just answer on behalf of Costa Mesa Sanitary.
so does somebody want to make a motion to use the money that's left over to do something or like?
Can I ask a question? So part of the survey was asking the residents that were surveyed, how would you like to learn about, be communicated with? That was email, something else, but magnets. I remember magnets, fridge magnets. So my question is, and I want to just give two little suggestions for staff to maybe work on, or us to think about. Maybe it's already out there. Could that money, I think the $4,600, could that start the process of the magnets?
We already have those, actually,
have
don't
them.
we? Or we used to, or we might be out right now, but you guys always have those generally.
Oh,
we
yeah?
already have
Okay.
We have some right now. Do we have, Nolani?
What,
Well,
That'd be
I'll give you a magnet tonight. We have some.
okay, what is it? Okay.
And it talks about it's a 3-card system. Tells you
Three-card.
where to put where the
Okay.
material.
And then the other thing
Love a
was,
magnet.
Xerxes is right. I mean, we should be in all the socials, anything related to that minor. Free is better, right? But also so one idea I have is having, for the 3-card system, staff create a YouTube video just for recyclables. That's the newest. What are recyclables? And they literally, in front of a cart, this is recyclable, only show the recyclables. What's
They
that?
have one,
They
I
do,
think.
yeah.
They
You have that?
One of those, yeah.
Great
They
suggestion,
do.
but we have.
Yeah,
we have-
they have those.
That should be mandatory to new citizen advisory committee members. I should have that. Because it is confusing. Oh,
Suggestions have been taken.
Yeah,
yeah. But one thing I've noticed, education, people forget, and let's recognize the average age of our citizenry, especially that own homes, is going up and up, and they just forget. So something right in front of them, and the carts themselves are much better than they used to. The battery thing, I mean, it's much better, but somehow we got to put it in their face every single week. Like, hey, recyclable. One more idea is at night, it's hard to tell for some folk what color the lid is. So long-term, I'm sure the district has already purchased a lot of the carts. Long-term, maybe a completely green cart and lid for organics, and a completely blue, baby blue or whatever to make it like pop. Yeah, well, I mean, next decade probably, I'm sure. Because those things last a long time, right?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion.
anybody else?
I'll make a motion.
Okay,
If you want a motion.
the water's warm, jump in.
that we use whatever's left, 49, whatever. I loved Michael's idea about, I have no idea how much that costs, about drilling down on the ads. And I love the idea of using the shopping carts because people are filling up their shopping carts. And I have something else to share with you about plastics that apparently we can't recycle. But I'd like to make a motion that we explore some of these other ideas and maybe use some of that money towards some of those. Because again, I don't know how much what Michael's proposing costs and.
I think the question for Scott is what can you do with the 4,900? You had budgeted 45,000 for the contract, 38,900 was spent by the firm to conduct the survey. So what's the parameters of the agreement and those surplus dollars? And if you don't do anything with it.
Yeah, so specifically for that contract, if we don't, that money is left over is for a focus group. If we don't want to use it for a focus group, that money would just go back in the pot, go back in our solid waste fund budget.
Gotcha.
It would have to be a focus group.
I'd like a motion, so if you're gonna spend $4,900, get some of those, those compost bags,
You just
and
said
then,
we have
and
to
then,
use it for a focus group.
It has to use for.
Has-
focus
Well,
group
yeah,
or
we-
it goes
money
to
would go back, the money would go back into
then
our
to-
solid waste fund,
or
and we could do that.
and just give them out to the people at the grocery stores, man, and just, you'd be,
Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion that we don't do the focus group, that the $4,900 go back into your general pot. And that additional methods for education and outreach of the public be identified and maybe a plan to move forward in the future.
Probably I'll make a friendly amendment that we go ahead and adopt that, which is the 4,900 goes back into the fund, but that you're going to do it, but I'm just part of the motion is to come back to the CAC with the more in-depth analysis you're doing of the data and the action plan. And if you think the
Yeah, we'll try
March.
again in March, if not, March or May.
right, so at a spring CAC meeting, you'll come back and they'll give us an opportunity then to make some additional recommendations for you on, whether it's a survey or it's the action plan elements, which is probably education, all that stuff.
like that idea.
Second.
Yep, I'll second that one.
I have a question before we vote though.
Here's a question.
Great, Craig. Second.
Can we also attach some cost to that? Because again, I think that Michael's idea is great. I have no idea what that would cost. Can the staff give us just some idea of what some of these things we're asking for might cost? Thank you.
Okay. There was a motion, a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Pension.
Okay. Excellent. Moving right along. Revised Citizen Advisory Committee meeting, work plan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is an FYI, and I thank the CAC for reminding us last November that during the joint meeting on September, the CAC and the board directed staff to identify items in the work plan that are aligned to our 2025-30 strategic plan. And we did not include that revised plan in the November agenda, and I apologize. I take full responsibility. That was my fault. I just simply forgot, to be honest with you. Based on that directions, tonight I have before you the revised plan that identifies basically 2/3 of the items identified in the work plan are aligned to our strategic plan, so about 68%. There are 6 items in that plan that are not identified in the strategic plan, but we do believe they're still important to your work plan because they apply to our operations and our transparency efforts. So we do believe that those are still important. So this is just a revised plan. It's just for receive and file. Happy to answer any questions you have.
I just have one question. I know that there were some terms and he never told me what they were. Director Uten said that there were some terms, like words, that we were using in our work plan to describe something that was in your strategic plan, but it used a different word. So the words didn't sync. Did you guys look at that at all?
didn't know what couldn't find what he meant. I can clarify with him, like,
Okay, no problem, because he and I were we had that discussion at the meeting at the time in September. And then he and I had a discussion offline because he was explaining to me what he meant. But I didn't know if that was part of this. So, this just clarifies whether it was part of a strategic goal or not.
right.
Okay,
Yeah, and that's what, I understand what the CAC and the board direct staff to do to make sure that the action items are aligning with the strategic plan.
okay, perfect. I make a motion to receive and file if no one has any questions or comments.
Second the motion.
Okay, perfect. Let's see, item 4, consider recommending to the board of directors.
Voting on the motion?
What?
Voting on the motion?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. All those in favor to receive and file? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, sorry. I just want to see if you guys are paying attention, and you are. Excellent. Okay, now we're moving right along. Consider recommending the board of directors adopt administrative regulation number 140, accessory dwelling unit ADU. This was not originally attached to the agenda packet when it went out, which is why it's sitting in front of all of you now. It had like the basis in the staff report for why this was supposed to be voted on, but it wasn't attached. And so that's why it's in.
This place made some exceptional exceptions to their ADU process this year.
So, Scott.
So, yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to turn this over to our district counsel, Alan Burns. He was the one that drafted the policy, and we did present this to the board last month. So I apologize it wasn't on your agenda. It was presented to the board last December. So we're looking for your comments, suggestions, and we'll take it back to the board for approval consideration. So I'm going to turn it over now to Alan Burns, and he'll describe more about the ADU policy.
Go ahead, Alan. Good evening, Madam Chair, and members of the committee. Before you tonight for your consideration is a proposed administrative regulation pertaining to ADUs. It was developed to provide a working guide for staff to process ADUs and to provide a ready reference when more detailed research was necessary. ADUs are accessory dwelling units that are associated with a main residential dwelling and were created to assist California's housing shortage. These laws have been passed by the state legislature and preempt or override local laws in many instances. Some of our neighboring cities are challenging the state for attempting to preempt local government, but for now the ADU law is the law of the state and we must comply. An ADU may be attached or detached from the main dwelling and must provide complete independent living facilities, including a kitchen and a bath located on the same lot as the main dwelling. It must include permanent provisions for living, sleeping, eating, cooking, and sanitation on the same parcel. It includes manufactured homes. A junior ADU is no more than 500 square feet in size and must be contained within a single-family residential unit. A junior ADU may have its own sanitation facilities, or it may share with the main residence. Many ADUs and junior ADUs must be ministerially approved, meaning the city does not have much discretion to deny or request modifications. And that's the government entity that would approve or deny. These include expansions of up to 150 square foot beyond the main dwelling's footprint. An 800 square foot limitation is possible for city action if it imposes it. Height limits can be imposed and 4-foot side yards can be required. Not much else can be required, and additional parking cannot be required. We can charge for our sewer impact fees if the ADU is over 750 square feet, but they must be proportionate to the rest of the fees. These would include fixture fees or capacity charges. We can also charge for our sewage transportation costs, which includes maintenance of our sewer lines. We cannot require separate laterals unless the unit is being built with a new single-family unit or if the ADU will be capable of being conveyed separately. We are allowed to charge separately for trash collection and recycling. So this administrative regulation is meant to be a living document and a working guide. It serves as an introduction to the subject, provides statutory references, and gives an outline or a simple summary of the law. It probably will not answer every question, but may assist our personnel to navigate these issues. The city or the county will be the primary implementer of this law and has the authority to broaden the use of ADUs through the adoption of ordinances. I anticipate we'll need to amend the AR, the administrative regulation, if the legislature continues to be aggressive in preempting local government from regulating these units. So it is submitted for your learned consideration, and I stand willing to answer any questions. And thank you for your service.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions, comments, suggestions? Nope. All right then. Michael, anything for you? Okay. I
have a
mean,
question.
it's, okay.
I have a question. So the word may means the board of directors of the Costa Mesa Sanitation District, they are the authority that may impose the impact fee in the future?
Yes, we do impose impact fees already. And the question would be, how do we treat ADUs? And I think we already have some regulation on it, but we will be fine tuning that the next time we do our Prop 218. Or it won't be Prop 218, it'd be the other one. It would be our other hearing in which we set our capacity charges.
Anybody else?
I do have a question.
Okay.
Quick question. So I think it was about 2019 that the city all of a sudden relaxed all of its rules on ADUs and we're fast tracking all of their permits. Now it's slowed down and it's become a real pain again. But did you guys see an increase was there an increase in requirements for, or requests for trash pickup at certain,
No,
like since 2019?
No, I wouldn't say significantly higher. No, we see some increases, but it's not overwhelming. No, nothing like that. I mean, if
Not a
you look
huge
at the
impact.
city's general plan, I think they were anticipating 11,000 ADUs. We're nowhere near that. But I think Mark said it's picking up a bit. But as far as additional solid waste, it hasn't inundated us.
Well, I think, wasn't there like a drop in permitting through the sanitary district ever since they kind of switched their system over there? It's been still the same
I mean,
for you guys here?
yeah, nothing's changed.
Oh, okay. All right, well, I mean, I think this is necessary. I mean, I think it's important to put in guidelines where you can control the things that affect the district, because the state has kind of made a lot of things a free-for-all in terms of what the city's allowed to say or control in this instance. So, I mean, I would make a motion that the board consider adopting this administrative regulation.
Second.
All those in favor?
Favor? Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, moving right along.
Thank you, Alan.
Thank you.
Next item, popular annual financial report for the year end, fiscal year end, June 30, 2025.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So every local government in California has to produce what's called the ACFR, the Annual Comprehensive Financial Report. So every city, every special district, every county, every school district has to produce this ACFR. And the ACFR, what it does, we produce the ACFR and it has to be submitted to the state controller's office. The ACFR describes what the organization spent, the revenues brought in, the expenditures that they spent the previous year. It also goes into other further details like it looks at pension liability. It looks at other employment benefit offers. It also looks at assets and liabilities. It's a very comprehensive financial document. I always tell people, if you want to look, you want to find out the financial health, financial strength of your municipality, your local organization, you go to the ACFR, not the budget. The budget is a planning tool. The ACFR is actual numbers to tell you how your financial health of your organization. The problem with ACFRs is that there are many pages and they can be very difficult to understand, especially if you're not in the public financing. Our ACFR alone is nearly 100 pages. It's about 80 pages. If you look at the city's ACFR, it's nearly 300 pages long because of all the different funds they have. And so that's
Financial report for dummies, the Cliff Notes version.
I won't say that, but basically, so what the PAFR does, it takes all that information and it condenses it into smaller documents. So that ACFR that we have is 80 pages. The PAFR explains all that information in the ACFR, but does it in only 20 pages. And it uses a lot of graphs and bar charts that makes it easily understand of our financial position here at the district. This is our 11th PAFR. We've been doing this for over 10 years. We received our 10th award from the U.S. Government Finance Officers Association of the United States. It also allowed us to become Triple Crown recipients from GFOA, which not many organizations in the country have that distinction. It means that we received awards for our PAFR, our ACFR, and our budget. And as you said in my staff report, in Orange County, there's only 9 public agencies that have PAFRs, which surprises me because if we really want to promote transparency and openness, I think PAFR is the great document to demonstrate that. City of Costa Mesa doesn't have a PAFR. Mesa Water District doesn't have a PAFR. OC San just started one. I saw that OC San finally, they put one up. They did one. But again, not many organizations, which I don't know why. So I'm very proud of this document. I'm proud of my staff. They put together a fantastic document. Again, if you want to understand our financial health, you refer to the PAFR. So I'm pleased to present to you our PAFR for fiscal year ending of June 30th of 2020.
I love this report. I think it's extremely well done. I do have a couple of suggestions for you. If you turn to page number 2, the one numbered 2, not the first 2. Under about the district, it's toward the bottom. It says CMSD partners with CR&R Incorporated to provide collection services for single family homes and small multifamily residences. I would suggest that you put and some small multifamily residences because it's not all of them. Under Board of Directors, I would suggest that where it says elected by division to serve staggered 4-year terms, that you should put elected or appointed by division to serve staggered 4-year terms because we do have one board member that's been appointed. Same thing on number 3. On page number 3, in the top half of the paragraph, it refers to single family homes and multifamily. Again, I would put some multifamily there. On page 4, under local economy, where it says major regional facilities, I was curious why you didn't include OCC because it has Vanguard University, AAA, South Coast Plaza, Segerstrom. OCC now takes up a way bigger footprint than Vanguard does, and they're in the position, they're trying to transition to a 4-year university, and they've built a lot of stuff over there. So I would probably include that one. Just a question, I think I probably know the answer to, but it talks about on page 6 installing EV charging stations to begin the conversion. Is that going to be, are those going to be at the yard or are they going to be split up? Like, will some be here? Will some be at the yard?
We're looking at installing 2 public EV stations here at HQ for the public. So like you have a city hall, where we can charge.
Yeah. Okay, excellent. And then I think I had one other one. Well, the only other comment I had is, it shows that you guys have picked up an extra $2.8 million comparing 2025 to 2024 in terms of your, assets and liabilities. So that's great. Just wanted to say, awesome. But I love this report. It has great information. It's easy to understand for people that don't understand financial reports. I like the pictures. And then this fun fact in the back that says 23,216 solid waste households. Are those the single family homes?
That includes some of the families, so.
Oh, okay.
So it's all our customers.
Okay, because I never knew the amount of
Oh, yeah.
home of residences that were actually served. And then on the last, on the last couple pages, there are some other fun facts about the district that if you didn't know, it'd be fun to look. And I loved the special tribute that you had to Arlene in this issue because she's very deserving of that. Not only for what she contributed at the district, but what she's contributed to the city as a whole over the last 50 years. So if you guys haven't had a chance to look at this, I would recommend that you do because it's a great report. Anybody else? Comments, questions?
Everything that Sue just recommended, is that gonna be amended to the existing plan or for the template for?
No,
next
we
week?
can, we can amend it, we can make it a template.
Okay, great. So I amend that this be part of the new citizen advisory along with the handbook, whatever the previous year's AFR.
Yes.
Because yeah, it's readable and it's important to know these things. So now I will read it. I haven't read it yet, but I will read it in the next week. Yeah.
Where does this document live? Just on your website?
On our website, on a finance page.
So a way to get this out to our ratepayers would be really good. And this is a great document.
Could you put a quick link to this on like the homepage for the sanitary district?
Maybe stick in a picture of the reward too somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, all three of them.
I think there are sections in here. I'm so bad at not following every time the social media posts, so forgive me for that one. So you'll tell me. But maybe in your communications plan, there's so many good things here that you can purpose, maybe at the beginning of the year and roll out on a either daily basis where you cut out different facts or highlights. And then you can use that as a tool to link to the report every time, right? So there's just great things in here that I'm like, yeah, we should tell people that. Not just as filler, but it gets obviously more people acquainted with seeing your posts and then following your posts and engaging with your posts. But those facts there's some facts in here that can be repurposed and again, linking to that, just like you would do for anything else that you're sharing with people. So.
Anybody else? Okay, I would like to make a motion to receive and file with the suggested edits. Second, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, great. Closing
Great
items.
job.
We have committee member comments. Again, I have comments, but I'm gonna let everybody else go. I do hope that you guys will all, if you haven't had the opportunity before you leave the room, introduce yourself to Eric. And Eric, if you would like to just take a couple minutes and just give everybody a quick rundown about who you are and how you ended up here, that would be fantastic. If you don't want to, you don't have to. But this would be the time for you to do that.
Sure, Chair. Well, as you can see, I'm being ordered to do so. At least I take it as that. I was in the Air Force. I'm born and raised here in Orange County, not in Costa Mesa, but I made my way here eventually. Got money for school, got my head straight in the Air Force, went to college eventually, to Cal, graduated from there eventually. But this whole decade, I was on the Fairview Park Steering Committee. I was a member, vice chair, then the chair for the last year. And as I spoke yesterday morning, we just had a major accomplishment of the master plan update. Basically, it's a big revision and improvement plan for the park. And it's good now. It's going to be great in the next several years. And a lot of new things are going to happen, more restoration and programs for kids, programs that's going to be a lookout tower, all these cool things. So I'm much closer here. I'm like literally walking distance to this district. So and I have a mutual friend that used to be on this committee. So I thought, well, why don't I join here? And things, as I told our friend, Mr. Carroll here, things are done a little bit better as far as committees and things of that nature, informing committees and communications, things like that, than some of the committees and commissions in the city. Not that I'm not saying you shouldn't try for them, but you sort of have to stay on top of some things, especially as the chair, what have you. But like I said, things are run a little bit better here, even though this is a pretty young, 2017 you started the committee. Yeah. So I'm happy to be here and willing to learn, and yeah, thank you.
Have you? Anyone else? Cindy?
Of course. So great meeting. Thank you, everybody, for all your suggestions. And again, I love this report, this short report. So on page 7, I want to talk about the battery program. I'm going to keep harping on the battery program because I think it's a great program. And as somebody who every holiday buys 200 batteries from Amazon, I need a way to dispose of them. And I love the new jars. So I've put together something kind of fun that they can do at the schools because, again, it's kids. We need to get them engaged. They're the ones who are bringing in the batteries at the schools. They're the ones who are going to make the money, right? So this was provided by the district. It says, guess my weight and win a prize. Guess how many and win another prize. And I already have 2 guesses here. If anybody else wants to guess, you're more than welcome to. You'd be surprised how heavy this is for just one little container. So I think we need to just do something kind of fun. And you even referred to it on page 7 in your report, that 12,759 pounds of batteries were collected, and we gave out over $10,000 in prizes. And I still think that bringing in, not going to the schools, but bringing in just the top 3 winners into the district and let them have an opportunity to meet everybody and see everybody and have their picture taken here at the district with our president of our board would be awesome. The other thing I wanted to talk about is, I don't know, we're talking about all this recycling, and I sent it to Chair Lester, and I also just sent a copy to Noelani, but there's a company, and you talk about advertising on Nextdoor and advertising on all these scrolling things and on Ring. There's a company called Ridwell, and they've been advertising on Nextdoor. And I did send it to Chair Lester with a picture. And there are certain plastics that they're saying we can't put into our recycle. They will not recycle them. So I would like somebody to find out why, and why are they taking, that's a cost. They're charging to take those plastics, and they're saying, we'll come to your house and do it. So look it up, Ridwell, and why can't we do that also?
Now, is that the company, the director or President Schaefer might know, is that the company that got the contract for the whole state of California to do recycle from home, or is that a different company?
But the one that was at the OCC reopening?
Yeah.
It's the only company I'm aware.
Yeah, they're operating the recycle center out of OCC through
So what's the name?
OC.
I don't recall. Ridwell doesn't sound.
Ridwell,
familiar.
that doesn't
Recycle
ring a
from
bell to
home,
me
I think there's
either.
another name, but
Yeah.
Ridwell doesn't sound.
Birdwell surf trunks. That's the only Birdwell I know.
But I was speaking to Mike Carey, who is the liaison for CRNR now, but he ran the recycle center and worked at OCC for years. And he's the one that shared with me that this particular recycle from home company who's trying to weasel their way in. Bless you. I guess they have contracts with Irvine and some of the other surrounding cities that they're trying to weasel their way into Costa Mesa to do recycle programs from home where they will drop bags on people's doorsteps those people apparently got the contract for the whole state of California. So I think we should look into that too, in addition to what she's talking about, because it's apparently, this is the only company that is gonna be able to do the recycle from home program in the state, which I thought was extremely disturbing. Glass, aluminum, plastic, anything that's recyclable.
All the stuff that keeps our rates low.
Yeah.
When they did the rededication of Orange Coast presentation from, you remember the name of that company, Scott?
No.
Recycle at Home, or,
Yeah, it's like a father and son company.
yeah, they'll come to your house and take all your recyclables and you pay them, they'll pay you for your recyclables, but they're not gonna pay you the same rate that you'd get from a regular center.
Right.
By the way, just a funny little story. In one of the rare occasions that I had to go to the supermarket, I was at Vons just before Christmas, I think, getting some fruit. And a guy was, you know what, if you've gone into the produce section, they have the green bags on rollers all over the place. And I heard this noise and I turned around. There was a guy pulling those bags, and I guarantee he took at least 100 bags. Yeah, I mean, so there's a way for you to get free bags, I guess. Nobody in Vons said anything, but he was just pulling these things out like nobody's business. It was great. Anyway, I'm not aware of.
Okay. Mark.
California has a recycle from home program, but it's only for anything with a CRV. Aluminum cans, glass bottles, plastic bottles, but they don't just take indiscriminate plastics.
Okay.
And they do pass out bags, and you can get them, and they'll pay you for it through things like Venmo and other things. But it's only for the CRV related program.
Okay.
You can't just put anything in there.
Okay. And then a few things I just want to share with everybody. At the board, a reminder that as a member of the CAC, and there's a handbook out there, if you haven't read it, read it. It tells you what's expected of you. And one of the things that's expected of all the members is to attend either a board meeting or a board study session. There's a meeting coming up, a board meeting coming up on January 26th, where the board is going to be considering amending director compensation provisions to the operations code. And they're going to be discussing what qualifies as a meeting that they get paid for. They get up to, right now, they get compensation for the $290 up to 6 per diem days a month. I don't know if they're going to try to increase that. The staff report doesn't say anything about that. They were supposed to discuss it at the board meeting yesterday, but it got bumped because of technical difficulties. It talks about exceptions to the meeting rule, remote meetings, all that kind of stuff. If you want to attend a meeting, that might be a good one to pay attention to or chime in on. It's January 26th, and the board meeting starts at 4:30, and they're in this room. Also, on December 9th, at the December 9th study session, the board went into great detail about the consideration of CalPERS health benefits for members of the board. As I understand it, the sanitary district only once offered health benefits to board members, but it was fully paid by the board member. Costa Mesa Sanitary District did not fund it, correct? Am I understanding that correctly? Anybody?
Trying to recall, it was over 10 years ago, so, I think the district did pay, but it wasn't 100%. Part of it was paid for by the board member, but I think that the district did pay some part of the health care.
No.
Okay, so my point is that in the staff report for December 9th, it's online, you can look it up. it goes into great detail about what is being proposed, options that are available. It also breaks down all the special districts in our area and the obscene amount of money that they get paid for benefits. So you might find that interesting. I would encourage you to look at that. I looked up Mesa Water's compensation. Those guys get paid $387 a meeting, up to 10 meetings, and they each get over $1,700 worth of medical benefits a month. That is ridiculous. So you might want to look at that. The other thing is, I think that's supposed to, the stuff about benefits for the board is supposed to come back to a board meeting sometime in March. I think you said that. Would it be possible, and I don't know if this is something that has to be approved by President Schaefer, because we didn't include it in our work plan, but is that something that this could come to the CAC
Has to be directed by the board.
to see?
The board or the president has to direct us to do that.
Okay, so President,
He can't do it today. I mean, I would suggest him maybe at a board meeting, have him do that direction. He's just here as basically just watching the meeting. You can't ask him to.
okay,
direct
well,
stuff,
no, I was just gonna ask him if that was, if, what I needed to do.
Yeah, it's, if you want something on the agenda for discussion, you can ask, I can ask the president on your behalf.
Yeah, okay,
you know,
so
and-
I could direct it to staff and
Yeah,
then
and then
staff.
and then we ask the board, and if they say yes, we'll put it on. If they say no, then we move forward.
Okay, so I would officially like to request that the CAC get to see what benefits are being proposed to, because all this information was discussed, and then there were questions, and there was more information that was gonna come back and go to the board, and they were gonna vote on it. And I know for me personally, I have a huge concern with all public officials, starting local all the way up to the top of the food chain federally, that vote for their own benefits when the public doesn't know about it. And I think this is like a good forum to kind of discuss it. So that's fine.
Actually, I believe we're taking the board this month. I think it's going to be on January 20th. So wasn't it the board comes? Yeah. So we're going to talk about it again on January.
Benefits are going to be on the 26th now also? I thought just the compensation was the 26th. Okay. Good to know. And then the last thing, just that you guys might be interested in on the same line of just what's out there. Voice of OC came out with an article on December 9th. You can get it online. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. And it talks about compensation for public officials for the cities. So like city council members. Costa Mesa makes more than any other city in terms of benefits. They get $226,684 a year in benefits. So I'm mentioning all of this to you guys so you can just be aware of it, because most people have no clue what a lot of these elected people get. And
They don't have a clue, it's because they're not wanting to get the information because
they don't pay attention.
it's all public information.
I know it is, but they don't pay attention.
That's
Or
it.
they don't know where to even look for it.
Their own fault.
Okay, well, I'm sharing. So.
Okay.
Conversation to
I
have.
agree.
And really, if you're able to make the meeting, it's good to see how a board is taking an action on benefits for themselves. Most people who have full-time jobs, the employer determines what the benefits are. You don't self-determine your own benefits. So it's a very unique situation or process for elected officials. It's not, this isn't the only organization that does this. That's how it works.
Right.
It's good to see like what are the benefits being considered, and then what is the time commitment that is occurring, right? I work a full-time job, so I have benefits that are kind of commensurate to my work in a full-time position. So that's kind of how I look at it. So I think it's a good learning opportunity to have that content.
Absolutely. Cindy?
I believe that that we'll receive a agenda for the board meeting, probably only a couple of days before.
Comes out usually Thursday or Friday before the meeting.
So there might be some additional information in addition to what you referenced that might be helpful.
Right. And that's it. Thank you.
Good question. That was 224,
220, wait,
224,000 per council person?
no, total.
For the whole.
But if you look at the title of the article is how much do OC taxpayers spend on local politicians' health benefits? And it was dated, it was published December 9th. And it's on Voice of OC. And it's a free site, so anybody that's interested in looking it up can see it. Thank you for all of you for being here and for the excellent conversation on all the topics. Thank you to staff. Again, high five on that report because it's amazing. And on that note, I would like to adjourn the Citizen Advisory Committee meeting to our next meeting, which will be held at 6 o'clock on Wednesday, March 11th. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Welcome, Meredith.
Thank you.